Is any company perfect? No, they are not. There's a murkier side to most, and while some are definitely worse than others, you can bet your ass everyone involved would rather it wasn't spoken about. But in the modern world where the internet exists coupled with assholes like me, well, that's just a dream that's difficult to achieve these days. So as we approach the end of the year, let's go back through 2017 and remember some instances that you would imagine WWE would rather you forgot about, or at least hopefully learns from and gets stronger through the future. Positivity and all that. I'm Simon from What Culture, and this is 10 things WWE wants you to forget about 2017. Number 10, those issues with public image. It all seems to have calmed down now, but earlier in the year, following the departure of Mauro Ranallo, the subject of the backstage culture at the WWE was thrown into the limelight, raising a big question mark as to what actually happened, particularly as Ranallo does suffer from mental health issues. It also tied into Justin Roberts' new book, whose own experience of bullying was chronicled with unflinching, depressing honesty. The alleged perpetrator, JBL, soon left the company, and you can make of that what you will. Whether or not things have changed, I don't know, and none of us ever will, I would guess. But it wasn't a highlight for WWE in 2017. At the time, at least, did remind us that such things are not cool and that a stable and nice working environment is actually quite important. Number 9, everything that happened with Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt's 2017 was not a success at all in any sense, and it actually may have done more harm than good. Well, no, it definitely did. There's no two ways about it. It's strange too because it all started so well. That awesome pairing with Randy Orton winning the world title at the Elimination Chamber. This felt like his long overdue time at one point, and my gosh, it all came crumbling down. The real issue started at WrestleMania when an overhead projector somehow did a run-in and beamed some spooky images onto the canvas. Unsurprisingly, Orton wasn't scared, neither were we, and he beat Wyatt for the title with one RKO in about 10 minutes. From there, Bray wasn't allowed to seem like he even cared about the belt, so instead he and the Viper had a House of Horrors match which didn't work on any level, right down to the fans watching it that night booing the big screens as it played. Plus we saw Orton get crushed by a fridge. Then he had a nothing feud with Seth Rollins that didn't get a payoff, plus the lowest of all lows, a program with Finn Balor where he had to pretend to be Sister Abigail, which in this scenario was dressing up as a woman and talking like a chipmunk. Wyatt needs the best 2018 of all time to come back from this, and he does deserve it. He still has all the potential in the world, just needs to be booked better. Number 8, those Great Balls of Fire. Now, I actually like the fact WWE called a pay-per-view Great Balls of Fire. Just summarise what a fantastic world we live in. Not too surprisingly, the name does not feature on the 2018 pay-per-view calendar. Instantly sending the internet wrestling community into meltdown, it got worse when 4 logos were released, all of which seemed to have been inspired by a penis and some testicles. That's not a joke either, that certainly appeared to be the idea here. The show itself was decent enough, but certainly not a classic by any means, and in hindsight it was the decision that just wound a lot of people up, but didn't do much for business. RIP Great Balls of Fire. We hardly knew thee. Number 7, the video leaks. This was awful all round and genuinely one of those moments where I get mad at the world because what's happening is just utter bullshit. Idiots forgetting that we're all human beings with feelings and exploiting the internet for their own screwed up pleasures. But in the spring, a quote-unquote sex tape scandal involving Paige, Brad Maddox and Xavier Woods broke, as did others, as the idea of morality was thrown out the window in favour of who knows what. The most ridiculous thing is that nothing wrong happened within these videos. It was consenting adults doing what they're allowed to do, and some of the responses to all of this were nothing short of unbelievable. I'd guess WWE would like to forget about this, and to be honest, I would too. Just let people live their lives, man, and don't go hacking into shit. It's weird. Number 6, Brock vs. Braun. Brock Lesnar vs. Braun Strowman at No Mercy, given everything we'd seen up to that point, should have been one of the matches of the year. Alas, it wasn't, and whatever hopes we had were soon dashed in favour of trying to get Lesnar's F5 over as a brutal finisher, so that when Roman Reigns kicks out of it at WrestleMania 34, we all think it's a bigger deal. There's nothing wrong with that in one sense. Finishing moves have become a problem in modern day wrestling, so actually trying to build one back up is smart. But it shouldn't have been at the expense of Braun, the unexpected star of 2017. The problem was, on paper it seemed like a good idea and what we wanted to see, but the long-term booking plans meant it wasn't. It should have been changed for something else. Then, when you could pull the trigger properly, it would have meant so much more. Instead it was there, then it was gone. No one really felt any different about it. Number 5, the Rich Swann incident. Now, I don't think WWE should be held accountable for what its talent does. That doesn't mean they can enjoy it when things like this come up, and if nothing else, who did see it coming? The allegations, though, are that Rich Swann erupted into a fury during a car drive with his wife Sue Young, and apparently dragged her back to the vehicle, which would count as kidnapping her against her will. One witness statement even said Young became so terrified she risked harm by removing herself from the car it was moving. To WWE's credit, they dealt with this swiftly and effectively by suspending Swann, and the latest rumours are that the two are reconciled, so who knows what happened and what didn't. But nobody wants this. It's just bad news all round and sad if nothing else. Don't shout and scream or be violent towards people. It really is that simple. Number 4, the state of the WWE Championship. I think you could say this about a lot of titles nowadays, but in 2017 there was a specific incident which did highlight that maybe, just maybe, the WWE Championship is not what it once was. It didn't help there was a lot of hot potatoing earlier in the year either. John Cena won it from AJ Styles, only to lose 2 weeks later to Bray Wyatt, who then lost it a few weeks after that to Randy Orton. It's quite the first 4 months. From here we enter the Jinder Mahal experiment, and given that he literally did go from jobber to main event champion, well, I can understand why some fans would think this lowered the belt a touch. It was just too out of nowhere and too transparently a business move. The idea of hype and emotion had been utterly forgotten about. AJ winning it back in the later stages of the year helped immensely, simply because he's so well liked and talented. He does bring a prestige to the title, but the concept of making sure a wrestler feels like they've accomplished something when they win the WWE Championship has taken a hit in 2017. It's probably an idea we need to bring back. Number 3, the reinvention of Cody. I thought it was nuts when WWE let Cody Rhodes go. There's always something about him. Even as Stardust, he made it work, so for me, under the hood there must have been more. Surely after the year he's just had, WWE are now kicking themselves. Admittedly, his run there was so up and down it made sense why he'd want to try his luck on the indies, but his success, I think, must have taken some by surprise. But be it marketing, matches, who he associated with, or his unwavering work ethic, Cody has been one of the highlights of the last 12 months and seems ready to only take further steps forward in 2018. If nothing else, it's more proof that WWE isn't the be-all and end-all, and you just know that's something they'd like you to forget in 2017. The world has changed, man, and it's awesome. Number 2, the rise of New Japan. 2017 has definitely been New Japan's year. Okada and Omega had 3 matches that some called the best ever. Naito made himself one of the most badass wrestlers on the planet, and the junior heavyweights continued to raise the bar of quality almost every week. Maybe even more important than that was the posting of some very successful financial numbers, and the promotion ran 2 very well received US shows. I can't imagine they could have had a better 12 months considering where they were in 2016. Even Chris Jericho had his head turned. Given that 2018 is going to start off with Wrestle Kingdom 12, a card that looks like it's going to be incredible, it may be an even bigger year for New Japan. That's absolutely something WWE does not want you to know. They're not at the point where they could directly compete, of course, but they are growing. Got to believe that Vince McMahon is aware of that. Number 1, the failure of localization. This was more of a shame than anything else, but at one point during 2017, a major part of WWE's plans was to extend further into other countries, and while it almost happened, it also didn't happen at all. There was no appetite, seemingly, for a UK exclusive show following the United Kingdom Championship tournament, irrespective of how good it was. The issues with 205 Live reduced the hunger for more content, and the 2 men who wrestled the best match in all of WWE in 2017, Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, end the year in a weird place. They're both with and kinda not with the company. Then of course there's everything that happened with Jinder. I know I'm bringing it up again, but I think we can all agree that didn't work as WWE intended. Unless the plan was to build him up for 6 months and then have him lose to Triple H in India. It's certainly a good goal to have, as if it was successful it would help WWE no end. But in terms of 2017, it didn't work as planned. When something doesn't work as planned, you just want to forget about it. Know of anything else WWE wants to forget about in 2017? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. Then head over to WhatCulture.com and read some articles, and follow What Culture on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. My name is Simon from What Culture, and have a wonderful new year.
Hey guys, thanks for making it to the end of the video. Aren't you a star? Don't forget to subscribe below, and also the people who made this video, they're right here, so go and follow them and give them some love. If you want to see more content, there's probably some stuff flowing up above my head. Why not check it out? It could be fun. I'm not your dad.